afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of MSME Masterclass. Today, we have the privilege of hosting a pioneering force in India's industrial water storage and fabrication space, Mr. Sunil Uplap, founder and chairman of Shubham Tanks and Liners Private Limited. A mechanical engineer by qualification and a first-generation entrepreneur, Mr. Uplap brings with him over 3 decades of experience in industrial fabrication, modular tank design, and environmental infrastructure solutions. His journey began with the launch of Tank Clean, which evolved into the world's largest professional and scientific drinking water tank cleaning system. He has since then led Shubham Tanks and Liners in developing bolted panel tanks, liners, and modular storage systems tailored for diverse industrial applications across India and the SAARC region. Mr. Uplap's work has not only shaped innovative products, but he has also been widely recognized for impact, including the Sankalp Award for Social Enterprise, multiple Best Franchisor Awards, and the Essential Services National Awards. His insights today will be invaluable for MSMEs working with prefabricated structures, precision engineering, and infrastructure, particularly those navigating the challenges of building for scale and durability. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sunil Uplap. Welcome, sir. Pleased to have you today with us.
Thank you, Amrita.
So we'll begin with the first question. Let's start with the big picture. Tell us what's really behind the growing demand for prefabricated structures in industries today, and are MSMEs really catching on to this trend?
Fabricated structures have been around for almost 50 years in India. Earlier, there were RCC prefab structures also which were introduced. And before that, there were also, prefab structures made out of mild steel. And in India, it has been, accepted with a lot of reluctance, primarily because our engineers were very comfortable with conventional, brick and mortar construction, conventional RCC construction, where it is done at site. Most of the construction is done at site. But of late, over the last couple of decades, prefab structures have been very, very, prominently accepted by the industry and as the MSME as well, primarily because of the speed and efficiency that it brings into the projects. And, today, timelines of completion of projects are very important. So prefab structures, are having that advantage where there is faster project completion timelines with minimal on-site disruptions, because most of the fabrication and manufacturing is done in the factory and it's just brought to the site and put up. Irrespective of the topography or the geographic advantages, the geographic challenges that are present on a site, the speed and efficiency can definitely be better. Also, the second, reason why MSMEs should, take up this is the cost effectiveness of prefab structures. Because of manufacturing this in the factory, there is a lot of reduction in the wastage, lower labor cost that is involved as compared to the site fabrication. It also has, angle of, a green structure, because site fabrication, involves a lot of energy inefficient, processes involved. It is possible to use eco-friendly materials when you have factory manufactured structures and which are just assembled at site. And of course, government initiatives have also, played a major role with the, approvals of several such, structures in terms of creating new standards for prefab structures. So government initiatives and the policy support has been good. And of course, with technology taking over, there is a lot of automation and softwares which have come up, which help in efficient and faster implementation and execution of projects on site.
From your experience, can you tell our attendees how do prefab systems actually compare with traditional RCC or on-site built options? And what is the real advantage on the ground?
So, in a prefab structure, when any infrastructure is required to be built, the entire structure, including all those members that are required for construction of any infrastructure like a factory or a building or a warehouse, is manufactured in the factory and then taken to the site and assembled majorly using nuts and bolts, or some minor fabrication or welding work is done at site. On the other hand, a site constructed infrastructure has the entire civil work which is done in situ, where laborers work on site with equipments and machineries that are taken on the site, and then the construction is done there. The advantages of prefab is primarily the speed of construction. The minimal civil work that is required to be done at site takes least amount of time and efforts and cost, and the prefabricated structure can be just mounted on the RCC foundation that is built on the site, which is a minimal requirement for putting these RCC structures on these concrete foundations. There is the other advantages. It brings in a lot of cost efficiency, because manufacturing in a factory environment where systems and processes are controlled, machineries have higher efficiencies in a factory environment, and wastage of raw materials is the least as compared to site fabrication or site construction. The other advantages, there is absolute quality that can be maintained when these fabrications take place at the factory level. And obviously it also brings in element of precision on the work, because mostly on site you have to depend on the skill sets of the people who are working on the sites, whereas in the factory, being a very controlled environment, precision in terms of the measurements of the members and all other structures that go into the prefab can be maintained. Most of these infrastructure projects take place on a greenfield site, so a lot of times these site conditions are not in the control of the prefab contractor. Doing fabrication at site definitely leads to a lot of delays in projects and complications arising out of problems of workforce and other things. So the other things is also about flexibility and scalability. It is easy to manufacture at the factory, and in case there are any changes at site, we need not do carry out these changes at site. They could be taken up at the factory level, manufactured and then brought here to just do the assembly work. So those are the advantages,
Got it. Got it. So now, when it comes to tanks and modular storage systems, how do prefab setups influence things like project timelines or overall resource planning?
Um, as far as tanks are concerned, conventionally in India, we have been using RCC tanks for primarily for industrial infrastructure, for storage of liquids, for residential projects, or for even government, the bigger government projects. Given the advantages of faster project timelines, the execution today is the key for success of any project. And you know bettering of timelines is still a bigger requirement, instead of just meeting the timelines. So any project that is done and handed over before time adds up to lowering of costs, increasing profitability, and making the infrastructure available for use if it is done before time. So in case of storage also, many of the projects require water as the main resource for starting a construction. Now suppose if that project site goes in for site in situ cast, conventionally made tanks, it would increase the timeline right at the beginning. Instead of which, if a prefab tank is installed, going by experience, I can very confidently say any storage, to the in the range of 2 to 3 million liters can be done in a matter of 15 to 20 days. That kind of storage could take at least 3 to 4 months. So that much the project timelines would go ahead. The other important aspect is cost and also the risk management that is involved. Prefab structures are almost 25 to 30% cheaper than site constructed storage tanks in case of water or wastewater or whatever. There is a lower risk of construction, because construction done on site has its own exposure to risks and safety while construction, whereas here it is just matter of assembling the prefabricated structures at site. And of course, the quality plays a major role. Site constructed civil structures are prone to leakages, seepages, and because of multiple variable factors that actually are involved while construction at site. There is there is the reinforcement steel, the grade of reinforcement steel, the corrosion resistance of that reinforced steel, the size of the reinforcement steel, whether the supervision is done properly to ensure that the exact size which has been given by the structural engineer is used, the exact grade of the steel is used, the exact mixture and of the concrete is used, whether the water is used in adequate quantity to while construction, whether curing of the constructed tank has been done properly the way it is required. So all these factors, there are so many multiple factors that can affect the quality of construction at site, where it is very difficult to manage. So prefab structures eliminate all these problems that I just mentioned, and the site could be put into operation immediately after the installation or the commissioning of the prefab structure is done. So
For MSMEs who are thinking of moving to prefab solutions, what should they actually consider in terms of site conditions or local constraints?
The site geographic conditions would play a very important role for consideration for the taking up the prefab. Typically, in challenging topographies, taking the equipment or taking the materials for construction in a hilly area, for example, if the site is at a very challenging topography like a hilly area, this conventional infrastructure has a big challenge of and a big cost of taking all the equipment and the material up to the site. Whereas in case of prefab structures, you just need portable tools that need to be moved to the site, and material could be taken on head load because it is all in a modular condition, in a knockdown kind of a condition, where it could also be moved using laborers. Climatic conditions also play a very important role, along with the environmental factors like wind load, seismic zones, and rainfall, that occur in that area. The other factor is the flexibility and modularity of the design. So, in case you need to scale or expand the infrastructure at a later date, there is much more flexibility using prefab for such geographic conditions where it becomes difficult for conventional methods of construction to be done at a later date, in case there is in case of prefab, it is also very easy for integration of utility services like electricals, plumbings, HVAC, water, drainage systems. All these things are easy to do, whereas it becomes very laborious and there is no flexibility for change at a later date when it is not a prefab.
Got it. So you touched upon modularity. Can you explain how modularity helps businesses that are scaling or working across multiple locations?
So, modularity is one of the important aspects for any business, new business and growing businesses particularly. The risk of investment can be substantially reduced, and an entrepreneur can look at starting from a small infrastructure. In case the infrastructure has been designed whereby it can be grown at a later date or expanded at a later date as a modular structure where one can be built after the other. This, number one, it reduces his capex. Number two, it reduces his risk of this business needing expansion later, or reducing this also at a later date. The flexibility that it brings in for increase of the infrastructure at a later date is one of the major advantages that modularity brings. And obviously the adaptability, you can adapt different kinds of infrastructure along with a structure which has got a modular design, and at a later date you could also increase the other utilities which are required easily when a structure is modular. it is obviously the other most important advantage is also being cost efficient when scaling up, because the rigidity of a structure which is not modular would definitely have more costs when it comes to changing over. And also there is a reduced downtime in case of a modular structure. You need not shut down the entire infrastructure. It could be manufactured in the factory and just brought over and assembled at site while the ongoing work within that company is going on. So
Got
this
it.
is
Got it. Sir, are there any non-negotiable standards or tolerances that MSME should keep in mind to ensure the durability of their prefab structures?
so there are fabrication tolerances and standards that have already been laid down under the IS codes and under the BIS norms. So there are tolerances for linear dimensions. There are tolerances for straightness and flatness of material, of positioning of holes, welding tolerances, and also testing of welding as per required standard. And also there are alignment standards which required to be adhered to ensure that the assembly which happens at the site is not hampered, because a prefab structure has to be exactly manufactured as per the design to maintain absolute alignment when it is assembled at the site. So these tolerances are very important, and there are standards for such tolerances which are available. There are various IS standards. Some of them I could name. It is IS 800 of 2007, which has a general code for practice of steel structures. IS 456 of 2000, IS 1893 of 2016, and various others which are So it is important that the precision is controlled at the factory level itself. There are quality checks that are being made under a SOP that has to be designed. Documentation has to be uniform across manufacturing, across supply, across installation and execution at sites. Also, tolerances and safety margins need to be considered, so that in case of an eventuality, it could there could be adjustments done at the site for non-critical members.
Got it. So you've worked on some pretty large-scale projects. Tell us, what are some of the best practices from those that MSMEs could easily adopt?
So, best practices for PEB structures, according to me, could be taking care of, fabrication, which adheres to codes and standards, because at a later date, if the same company is not doing the expansion work of that infrastructure, a standardization brings flexibility for the owner of that infrastructure to get the work done from any other agency at a later date if required. The other thing is also, documentation is very important. Maintenance of a standard SOP and documentation, and submitting the same to the project owner, uh, you know, enables the owner to maybe, changes done at a later date, which may not, lead him to additional costs when changes have to be made, or because of the modular nature of the infrastructure, the changes which are made later, are well within the control of the owner.
What role, according to you, does coatings or corrosion resistance or material selection play in the long-term performance of a storage structure?
So, primarily, a storage structure is affected in two ways. First is the external, risk of environmental conditions that act and corrode the material of the tank or the storage structure. And secondly is the internal, the product or the water that is stored within the structure. So corrosion has to be protected from, both sides. The important part is, to identify the geographic location of where this infrastructure is coming up. If it is coming up in, for example, if it is coming up in, coastal area, the coastal belt has, as you know, has got very high, salt content and humidity. This is one of the major, enemies of any metal structure, because metal corrodes much faster under such climatic conditions. There are a lot of developments that have been done for enhancing the corrosion resistance of metal. There are technologies available where companies are pre-coating the mild steel or other alloys at their factories. For example, zinc, aluminium, silicone are being used. Manganese is being used, for factory coating of material. Epoxy coating is being done. So these are some of the ways where corrosion is taken care of to resist that corrosion. The internal, corrosion resistance is totally dependent on what is the material that is being stored. If there is an aggressive material, if it is acidic or alkaline, depending on the material, there are linings available. There are very inert liners available, which can be used to ensure that this material does not come in contact with the metal surface of the storage tank or the structure or the containment solution. The other aspect is also in environment is considering the location. Suppose now this infrastructure is built in a chemical zone, for example, in where there are all polluting industries, where a lot of as well as water pollution exists. So this also affects the metal and the infrastructure. So we have to take into account, while creating this infrastructure, the geographic location and the environmental conditions that prevail around this tanks to impart that kind of corrosion resistance treatment to that. So one of the major advancements is also micro coating technology, where mild steel is coated with noble metals, which increases its nobility beyond 1.5. So the inherent strength of resisting corrosion is brought about at the base of the tank, where at the atomic level there is a reaction, and the enhancement of corrosion can be stopped at that level itself, at the atomic level of that metal. So these are some of the ways which could be used for corrosion resistance and corrosion prevention.
Now, sir, we know logistics can be tricky. What tips, according to you, you can give rather to our MSMEs who are transporting and installing large prefab components, especially in remote or tailor sites?
The first consideration that needs to be taken is the location of the site. Many times, in difficult topographical areas, there are limited access or no access for heavy vehicles to move. So the first consideration is to ensure that the site where the prefab structure is being built has got accessibility for the size of vehicle that is required to be used. The second is also the length of the members that are being used. Many times trailers have to be used for very long members that have to be shipped to the site. Access and the road leading to the site should have this facility where these long bedded trucks or trailers can easily reach the location. Third is the weight that each vehicle should carry. Depending on the location of the project site, one has to take into consideration what are those things that could hamper the vehicle from reaching the project site, like a weak bridge, for example. In many remote locations, there are bridges which do not allow vehicles beyond a certain weight to cross the bridge. Then there are limitations of height. For example, the vehicles can't cross through. So if you have a structure which is being transported which has a non-standard height, say beyond 3.5 meters or above that, which is so these there has to be a study done, a recce to be conducted of ensuring that the logistics is smooth before even the material leaves the factory. Obviously, the other things to take care are the documentation and to ensure that compliances are in place, especially nowadays GST and other compliances that require online e-way bills and other things which are required to be. So on the compliance side also, we need to take care while taking care of logistics. The material also has to be packed, numbered, and in a way where the identification of the material at site and while taking a inventory at the site is easy for the supplier as well as for the customer. So identification, tagging, and packaging of all the components that go to the site is very important, and due care has to be taken while transporting, and the logistics partner has to be he has to be appraised of what is important, what needs to be handled, how it needs to be handled in a way where damage is not caused to the structures.
Got it. Now, so where do small businesses typically lose money in modular fabrication, and how can they course correct early?
So many of the times, there are material leakages happen at site, or buying excessive steel or material for fabrication, improper planning of raw materials. As you know, the commodity market is quite uncertain at times. So in case you have not factored the fluctuation in the raw material prices, there could be losses which could happen. Standardized dimensions could also lead to losses, because if your designs don't adapt to the standard sizes available, there could be wastages which could lead to losses. Labor inefficiencies and idle time, both within the factory as well as at site, could be one of those other factors which could lead to wastages and losses at the site. Having unskilled or low skilled labor force at site or in the factory could also lead to slowing down of the manufacturing process, or slowing down of the execution at site. Other losses could also happen due to improper design, or maybe also simple thing like documentation, error in the documentation, or design being inadequate or incomplete, where people at site do not understand a drawing, or they fit it in a way which is different than it is actually to be done. That leads to rework leads to increase in labor costs, which ultimately leads to the loss to the contractor. Then also project control costs. Many times there is a gap in communication between the owner of the project and the fabricator and the consultants. So what we have seen in our business is many times customers come up at the last moment while the execution is going on with changes at the last moment. So these changes are not factored for, and the customer, being a customer, he expects them these to be done free of cost, or at cost, and so this leads to losses at a later date. And obviously safety and regulatory compliances, if not done at the site, insurances if not taken, the required insurances are not taken, medical care is not made available at site, could also lead to losses in case of so covering all employees who work at the site with adequate statutory compliance of insurance, of various safety equipment that is required to be given to them, are the other aspects which need to be taken care to prevent any losses to the MSME.
Got it. So we are seeing more hybrid systems now, steel, liners, composites, etc. Do you see this as the future for prefabs?
Well, yes. Actually, as technology, changes and new, materials are developed. Composite materials would be, one of the, in things in time to come. We ourselves have, developed a very unique technology where metallocene, which is the latest polymer, is used in conjunction with other three, four polymers to enhance the strength and durability of the product. Likewise, a lot of technologies for coating are being introduced by various companies. I believe JSW themselves have, a wide range of coating technologies which are in place. So lining using composite material on metal, I believe would be a major game changer in time to come. And to adapt to such, things where there is reduction, it leads to reduction in cost, it leads to reduction in the dead weight of the entire structure itself. If suppose composites are used as an alternative to metal, for example, for coating inside. So if suppose FRP is used, so for instance, 5 metal, structure is required to take care of corrosion. But then if suppose one goes in for FRP coating, a hybrid coating like FRP, we could reduce the thickness of the metal and use such hybrid, So definitely it would be one of the important developments that would happen in time to come. Yes.
Now, sir, what kind of innovation is happening in joints, connectors, or assembly methods, and how can MSMEs benefit from that without major investments?
The major, changes are happening in fasteners, where a lot of development has already taken place, where these bolting and methodology and nuts and bolts, fasteners, which are, for example, self-riveting, fasteners are used, where people working at, higher heights, can use very small portable tools to, assemble structures, and, some of the major changes that have happened are also like chemical grouting is being used, where earlier we used to use cement, concrete to make the foundations, but a lot of development has happened in such foundation bolts, where chemicals are used to grout these fasteners. A lot of self-locking arrangements, even in nuts and bolts, are used nowadays, where a snapshot kind of arrangement is used, where you don't have to go at that place to enclose a roof, for example. It can be done at. So this enhances the speed and the efficiency of the construction, and there are ways where we could use such available.
So now, according to you, what's the best way for MSMEs to work with civil contractors or architects to make sure prefab designs match on-site realities?
The challenges that MSME faces at site, primarily changing specifications of customers, for example. Though the consultants and architects would have made certain designs to start with, which the MSME has worked, and the end customer, who's the final stakeholder within this entire arrangement, has different views, which changes over a period of time, probably for genuine reasons. I think there has to be a very tight collaboration between architects, between consultants, between other contractors involved in the project, and the MSME who's involved in the PEB construction, along with the end customer. There has to be a clarity in communication right from the kickoff meeting stage, where all these stakeholders are brought at a single place, and the expectations are made very clear. The beginning and the end result of what is required are made clear to all the stakeholders, documented, and ensured that they remain and do not change over a period of time. So this I believe is one of the major drawbacks that MSMEs have to face, where changes over a period of the project happen at the project site. There are many times delays happen due to lack of availability of land, lack of permissions, for example, from government departments. Sometimes climatic conditions also play a negative role. So all these factors lead to losses for the MSMEs, which need to be factored before planning or before execution of a project.
Now, so finally, what would you say to a first generation entrepreneur in fabrication who's looking to enter or grow in the prefab space?
In my opinion, a prospective entrepreneur who would like to get into this space has to bear in mind that there is a huge scope for development, number one. He needs to choose, what area is of his, of his proficiency, where he can give his best. What are his resources that are available? Access to, raw materials. How easy it is for him, to access the raw materials that he's going to use for the prefab structures. Use of technology like softwares for design, whether he has the capability or he has the arrangement to get such capability for him to design efficient structures, to design processes and systems for proper project management at site, because all these things lead to efficient execution of the projects at site. In case he is wanting to get into this for the first time, I believe one should take up small projects first, or maybe take a small part of a big project first, gather some experience and on how things work, what are the expectations of the end client, how labor dynamics works at the site, and once there is a confidence, and he could take care. There could also be ways where he could work with in collaboration with other contractors, or for example the platform that JSW has built. There, I'm sure there are ways where these entrepreneurs could connect and take help to understand how the situation is there on the ground, and of course. We being in the industry for almost 18 years now, we would welcome any such entrepreneur who would like to take up this, and the guidance would always be available from us, from our side as well.
With that, we've come to the end of today's session. So thank you so much for being with us and for sharing your insights on prefab structures. I am 100% sure our attendees are going to get a lot of insights from your session. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. It was a pleasure, Amrita. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I would like to also thank JSW One Platform for giving me an opportunity to express my thoughts on this. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure, sir. Our pleasure. Means a lot. For our attendees who are online, if you'd like to view the current episode, if you've missed any part of the current episode, please go on YouTube, type JSW One MSME, and you'll find all the episodes uploaded there. Thank you once again, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.